Usually we have our committee meetings downstairs, but there's an issue in the art gallery currently, so that's why we're having our committee meetings up here in the council chambers. Yeah, the committee is in order. All three members are present except for Alderman Vitale, who is excused, and the former Alderman Weigel is present, but he doesn't count. All right. Item 27 is a resolution to establish a multiple municipal local health department called the Southwest Suburban Health Department, jointly with the City of Greenfield. And I want to start off by saying I think everybody is very desirous of making this happen. Consolidation with other municipal entities is something that has been a goal of all of us, to work together cooperatively to provide services and save money. But now we're hitting into some of the details. And yeah, Jason Kazmarek, if you could talk to us about any concerns that you might have, and give us a bit of a background also about everything that's going on here, please.
Sure. Could probably leave Kale to a little bit more of the background, but from the financial side of things, I appreciate that you let me come up here and speak to that. I do have a concern with this current contract. With that in mind, like you just said, I know that council is genuinely wanting to move forward with a partnership with the City of Greenfield. And I understand that in the short term, there's going to be some give, by both sides. But I do have a concern with this contract for the long term. And what I'm getting at is the funding mechanism for it. So each city is going to have to fund based on a percentage on an annual basis. And the way that the contract is written currently is that it's based on the 2024 budget. So based on that split right now, and then going forward, that's how we would divvy up the bill. The problem with that allocation is that the budgets, while they're similar, they're not entirely comparable. So the level of service that the City of West Allis provides per person is quite a bit higher than the level of service that Greenfield provides per person. So if you think about the long-term play, we're going to have one health department that provides essentially the same service to residents here and residents in Greenfield. And in my mind, in the long term, the best way to allocate this is based on population, because each person is going to get that same fair share of having that service. So I think the way that it's set up right now, long term, the City of West Allis would be paying an unfair share of the bill. And I would love to see, I know you can't go directly to straight population billing because then Greenfield's not going to afford it. But I would love to see a mechanism where we're going towards that off into the future. And Kale, I don't know if you have any additional comments, but.
Sure. So we have a draft that we're working on right now for this agreement, but there's still a few more provisions that we need to work out. So I would ask that this committee not adopt anything tonight, just because we want to work out those final details. And then what Jason brings up is something that I would just want more just informal direction from the committee. If that is a funding mechanism that the committee finds to be appropriate, going by population rather than just the static ratios of current budgets, I'd be happy to try to implement that. The agreement itself right now is proposed to go on for a minimum of 5 years. And so over that 5-year span, there might be a way to incorporate the population-based financing structure incrementally. That way it's not too harsh at any one point in time. We're working toward that goal, but it also is not going to significantly negatively affect either community because we're already budgeted for it. So that might be an option if the committee is interested in doing that, and I could try to develop some way of doing that in the contract.
Right, Kale, and to answer that, right, or some sort of formula that takes both into account. So that it's a little unfair to Greenfield and a little unfair to West Allis, and then we have a happy medium. I think that would even be appropriate. We're not looking for the perfect deal. This isn't, we have to win or anything. We know that we're going to work together with Greenfield. I think that it doesn't have to be perfect in order to get to a yes, but these, and Jason, thank you for bringing this to everyone's attention. This does have to be addressed.
And in this process, we're happy to come up with different options or formulas to present to the committee in the future. But again, with that 5-year minimum time, as we work toward eventually getting whatever both parties can agree to, the idea would be there's going to be some savings in the budget overall. So that should also lessen the impact of whatever shifting has to occur over the next 5 years. And any new organization is going to be growing pains, but the idea would be efficiencies. Through attrition, there might be opportunities there as well with less staffing. You're going to get less administration. A lot of advantages, and I think after 5 years, there should be, we would want to have the financing structure set up for the foreseeable future going forward.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I even if we had a plan ready to go, I wouldn't want to act on this tonight. This is a big deal. I want our council to be able to digest this, think about it for a little bit, if you will. But yeah, so we'll hold this item and we'll wait to hear back from staff at the next council meeting then. All right, thank you. That's item 27. Item 20.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Could we maybe look to have because I see that there's an item under public safety for this, to potentially have a committee of whole meeting on it and talk about the different options?
If the council president wishes to call a committee of the whole, we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Do that. That's fine. Yeah, good idea. That makes sense. Okay, and then, yeah, anything else before we move on? All right. Item 28, January 30th, 2024, Administration Committee minutes.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And we'll take items 29 and 30 together. The appointment of Jenny Kosick for the position of Marketing and Communications Director, and the resolution to approve the employment contract for the position of Marketing and Communications Director for Jenny Kosick. I don't see Jenny here.
Move for
Right?
approval.
She was here.
I
Maybe she's
saw her
in-
earlier.
Yeah, she was here earlier.
All right. Yeah, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Congratulations, Jenny, wherever you are. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, and then can I have
I
a
move we
motion?
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We're adjourned.
Economic Development Committee will come to order. All members are present with the exception of Alderman Vitale, who is excused. We have one item this evening. That's an ordinance to amend the zoning code per the public hearing that we had this evening relative to animal services, rummage sales, and separation of distances for narcotic treatment centers.
Mr. Chair,
Alderwoman Keene.
I had a question. Steve, for the rummage sales, why 5 days? How was that calculated? And I just think if someone probably has a rummage sale, it's once or twice, hopefully a year. So you think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So where did the 5 days, where was that pulled from?
I believe that's coming out of the state statutes. It's resembling a something in the state statutes with the $2,000 and the 5 days. So, I mean, you could certainly consider another number, but we wanted to keep it relatively, nominal, small.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. So to pick up with Steve specifically, the where it came from was in the tax laws. So you can hold up to 5 auctions a year from one location without having to be considered anything other than occasional use. And so we figured 5 days is what the state allows for what appears to be commercial activity without actually counting it as commercial activity. That's where that came from. Plus the $2,000 actually comes from the other tax laws and secondhand dealer licensing laws that talk about if you have less than $2,000 in sales in a calendar year, then you don't have to get a license. So that's why those two were put in, because it ensures that we're not going to allow something that state law might prohibit.
Thank you.
What's your pleasure on the ordinance?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.